Oh, Paddington, good boy. Well done.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Knitting with Betty. You're joining me on what is probably the hottest day of the year so far. I think in London it's due to get up to sort of 34 degrees centigrade, so it's a hot one, and it's been sort of 3 or 4 days of hot weather now. So I've got my windows and my curtains and blinds shut to try and keep out the sun, and just trying to keep calm and cool. So I've got nice flappy trousers on and a summer top just to keep me cool. But so it's going to be a short one today so that it's not too hot in my bedroom, because it is south facing. So the sun is going to start to heat up very, very soon. Also got Frank with me. He's on the bed at the moment. So if you hear groaning noises, that's not me, it's Frank. But he's asleep at the moment, so hopefully he won't wake up. But yeah, he's not been very well actually recently. So a couple of days before I went away to Jersey, he had a mini stroke, and he has a pretty severe heart murmur as it is. He was diagnosed with about 2 years ago, and the vet didn't think he was going to make it 2 days, let alone 2 years. But heart murmurs are graded from 1 through to 6. So 6 is death and heart failure basically, and he was a grade 5. So it was pretty severe. He's all right now. I mean, he's on medication for his heart, but it does mean he is susceptible to things like strokes. So he had a mini stroke, but he was okay afterwards. He cheered up quite quickly after, but he was just a bit wonky. So his head was sort of leaning to one side, and he walks a little bit wonky. And the vet wasn't too sure whether he'd like regain that kind of movement again. But he's straightened out. He's not wonky anymore. So he had his head on a tilt, and he looked permanently like he was asking a question, like, "Whoa," how dogs tilt their head to the side. But he's not wonky anymore. But he's still a little bit wobbly on his feet, which I don't think he'll get any better from that. But he's okay, guys. He's okay. He's being thoroughly spoiled, and he's back to his normal self. But it's a little bit worrying for a while. So he's I'm keeping him close to me to keep him tight and cuddle him, because he's 15 and he's been with me pretty much, by my side every day for 15 years. So it's nuts. I wish dogs didn't have to get old. But anyway, back to knitting. So things have been a little bit different here. So I have been going to what I like to call sweater school. I signed up for an online course that at the time I thought was quite expensive, but having now done the course, I actually think it's very good value for money. But it's called, I think it's Sister Mountain Sweater School for Sweaters, something like that. I'll put it in the description box, the school I went to. And it's an online course that basically takes you through the whole process of how to design and put out your very first sweater pattern. So I've been really getting really into it, because it's exactly the kind of thing I love doing, and it kind of took me back to my fashion school days. I mean, it's a very different way to grade and to pattern make. So I'm of the old school pattern cutting, where you have a piece of paper, you have blocks, and then you change the blocks, doing various different methods to get different styles of garments. So, but with the sweater school, it's all done through a spreadsheet, which is absolute genius, because you don't have to do any of the working out yourself, really. It's all done for you. But it requires a different kind of brain, I suppose, because you have to come at it from a very different point of view. And then to grade, the way I would grade is you have an X and a Y, or X and Y axis, that you move the pattern pieces around on to get the biggest sizes or the smaller sizes. Whereas grading in knitwear, you just put it in a spreadsheet and then it works it all out for you. Genius. But yeah, getting to that point is the tricky part, sort of filling in all the different formula and all the different measurements that you need. So that was quite sort of mind-bending. And of course, I chose a design for my first sweater pattern that was going to be difficult because it wasn't the norm. So she does 3 different sweaters as examples throughout the school. So there's a set-in sleeve, there's a raglan sleeve, and there's a drop shoulder with sleeves. So I, of course, chose a dolman sleeve because why wouldn't you? So it was trying to get my mind around having to change the stitch counts and the row counts, because for a sleeve you want to know stitch counts and row counts, but for dolman you need to know stitch counts for width, and then the depth is like the row count, but it goes all the way. Anyway, I won't go into the whole thing, but it was quite complicated to get my head around, but I think I'm there. So I've been not doing much physical knitting because I've been head in a spreadsheet trying to work out what the heck I'm doing. But I have finished one knitting project. So my Susan Crawford Helen, I think it's called, Helen shrug. So I finished this quite a while ago. I haven't had much wear out of it, to be honest, because it has been so freaking hot here in the UK that I haven't really had much need for knitwear. I've been sort of in bare legs and bare arms most of the time, but isn't this just the best? Isn't it? Like, it's meant for like a bed jacket, so when you're in bed reading a book or whatever, you can pop it on. But I just love it. I just think it's the most useful little shruggy thing. Like, it's just, my friend who had knitted this, that is what inspired me. She took it to retreat with her, and it was just like a little evening cover up if it's a little bit chilly, and it's so useful. But yeah, I love it. I think it's absolutely lovely. So I haven't blocked this or anything, but it's just so cute. And I love the lacy design. So it is that kind of summer evening kind of top, because it's got quite big holes in it. So it's not going to keep you warm, but it's just such a useful little cover up. So I sewed the sleeves a little bit longer than the pattern recommended. So you're meant to sew up about 10 centimetres. But I found that it was kind of slipping off my shoulders a bit, and actually I might do it a little bit more so that it grips to my shoulders a little bit better, so it's more up by my armpit here. So that's my only sort of what I might change about it kind of thing. But other than that, it was just so quick to do. It was using 8mm needles, so nice big chunky needles, which I have to admit, it was like knitting with pens at first. It felt really weird after using such tiny needles on the vintage knits before. Sort of my usual is 3.25mm, so changing up to 8mm needles was a bit like knitting with pens. It was weird, but once you get used to it, it was such a quick and easy knit to do, and I just love it. And I love this yarn, even though it does fluff everywhere, and I have a fine mist of green on me now. So this was the Rowan yarn that I got from Bath, and I have to say I probably will use this again because it's so lovely. So yeah, all in all, it's great. And I did notice that as I was knitting this, that the reason I love this colour so much is because it matches my Beryl Woods wear china. So I took a little picture when I finished it to show you, which I'll pop up. But yeah, that's why I love this green so much, because it's beryl green, isn't it? But yeah, so let me show you the back. Actually, it's all in for you. But yeah, I like this one, but yeah, obviously I'm going to have to take it off because it's boiling outside at the moment. So that is that knit. The second knit that I have been working on, but not working on too much because I then started my own sweater design, is the summer knit along from A Yarn Story. And this was the Sailor Swift's top, which I will pop the details in below. Haven't finished it. The knit along has now finished, and I have to say I missed every single one of their Zooms because I completely forgot about them. They were on a Monday evening, and for some reason it didn't occur to me that on a Monday I should be doing a Zoom call. So I missed every single one of them apart from the very first one. So feel like I didn't really take part in the knit along that well, but I have nearly completed it. So I think I've got probably how many more stripes to do. That's a fairly good length, maybe 2 or 3 more stripes, just to add a little bit of length. And then that'll be finished. And then I have to do the eye cord, which will go around the neck and the arms. So then that one will be done. But that really shouldn't take me too long. But I did have to steal the needles for my sweater design that I'm doing. So I'm not going to reveal too much about it. So one of the most annoying things happened to me last week that I still don't really know what I'm going to do about. So I had been developing this sweater pattern, and I just got to the stage where I was starting to ask what they called pattern tech people, what are they called? Tech editors, to go through my pattern and ask for quotes for how much it would cost me and what their services are, that sort of thing. And I spotted on Instagram that another vintage pattern designer had brought out a pattern that is almost identical. So my inspiration was, I might not include this part of the video just in case I don't bring the pattern out. But my inspiration was Margot from the Durrells, and I'd known for some time that I wanted to knit it for myself. So I thought that I would use that design as inspiration for my very first sweater knitting pattern, because I was going to do it anyway. So I might as well go through the process of learning how to draft the pattern and do the grading and whatnot with this particular design, because I knew I wanted it for myself anyway. And I thought maybe other people might do as well, because lots of people that I've told about this sweater have said, oh gosh, I love that too. And they want to knit it as well. So great. I was on my way. I've started knitting my sample. I've written the pattern. I'm just going through the knitting pattern, knitting it and making sure that it makes sense basically. And so far so good. There's only like a few minor tweaks, like I'd forgotten to put in centimetre measurements, but I hadn't put the inch measurements in. So just like little tweaks like that and making sure that I've got the row counts right and that the measurements correspond and whatnot. And then I saw this other person had brought out almost identical sweater. Again, her inspiration was from an original vintage sweater. She hasn't shown the original vintage sweater that it was inspired by. So I don't know if it was the Margot Durrell one or if it was from her personal collection. But I know the Margot Durrell one is an actual vintage sweater that they used in the costume department. So yeah, I'm in a bit of a dilemma as to whether I'm going to bring out this pattern, because obviously I don't want to be accused of copying, even though technically I'm copying the vintage one, not this other person's design. And it's kind of that grey area that's a little bit tricky in sweater design, because in the sweater school videos, the lady who set up the course, Claire, says that even if your first sweater design is a simple stocking stitch V-neck set-in sleeve sweater, if you go onto Ravelry, there'll be thousands of simple stocking stitch V-neck set-in sleeve sweaters. So your design is never going to be original. There are very few people who bring out brand new, fantastic design that nobody's ever done before. And I'd say almost all design has been done before anyway. And if you look at fashion, it's exactly the same. All design has been done. There's nothing original anymore. Everything's been done that you can think of. So it's very likely that people are going to bring out collections that are this or either the same or similar. And also a lot of the vintage, not the vintage, the I can't talk, it's so hot. The fashion prediction books are, there's only like a couple of companies that do fashion prediction or trend forecasting books, and all designers go to the same inspiration of what is going to be trendy in this year. So things will be similar, will be colours, there will be shapes that are going to be trendy this season, that sort of thing. So it's very easy for designers to get almost similar designs because they use the same inspiration. So no one's copied each other, it's coincidence. So and one of the things that is good about the Sweater School is that we have a Facebook group. So I sort of put it to the group. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It's almost identical, this design. We've obviously got the same inspiration. Like, can I release this pattern? Am I going to be sued, basically? And two of my friends who are knitty friends, they were like, oh God, yeah, no, you can't release that. They're too similar. You better can it now, otherwise you'll get in trouble. Whereas the group was more, well, actually, you've got the same inspiration, but you're going to have complete different patterns. There's going to be different proportions. There's going to be different yarns. You're probably going to have different gauges, different stitch counts. There's going to be differences, even though the design is similar or the same. There's enough point of differences that it's not going to be the same pattern. It's not like I've taken her pattern and then put it out and said it's mine. There's going to be differences, and so I don't really know what I'm going to do about it at the moment. I'm waiting to hear back from Claire, who runs the course, to see what her opinion is, because she's worked in the knitwear industry for a long time and will probably have come across this kind of thing before. And it is one of the things with vintage knitting patterns that if you bring out a pattern based on a vintage pattern or a vintage sweater, chances are somebody else is going to have done it before you. So it's kind of that grey area, isn't it? So I don't know what to do, basically, because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I don't want to be accused of stealing someone's design or stealing her thunder, kind of thing. The other thing to say is the other designer has a lot bigger following than me on Instagram. She has she's brought out books before, so it's not her first rodeo, and so she's going to have a bigger audience than me. So the chance of customer crossover is very, very slim, because she's going to have the lion's share anyway. And the kind of reasoning behind bringing out your first pattern is you don't want to make too much of a song and dance about it, because it is your first pattern. So chances are my pattern's not going to be like 100% perfect, because I haven't mastered the techniques of grading and pattern writing for knitting. So I don't want it to go viral, because it's my first pattern and there's bound to be mistakes. So I want to bring it out quietly and without as much that much to do as possible, so that, you know, I can learn from it, and the next one will be better and the next one after that will be better. So I still don't know what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to bring it out or not, or whether I'm maybe going to show you what I've done. But so in the comments, right, what would you do? Like, it's really awkward, isn't it? And I don't want to, I don't know, I just don't want to piss anybody off, basically. So one of my thoughts was, so that I'm not accused of profiting from someone else's design, sort of thing, I thought maybe releasing the pattern for free, but I still don't know if that's even possible to do that. So yes, watch this space. But that's why I haven't got much knitting to show you, because I've been knitting on my sample for my sweater pattern, and I can't show you just in case I get sued. But anyway, what have you been knitting? So it is summertime here in the UK or the Northern Hemisphere, but I do know it is winter down in Australia and New Zealand and South America. So South Africa, if you're from Africa. So what have you been knitting this summer? After my my sweater that I'm knitting, I'm thinking I might do the little raspberry short sleeve kind of summery top that I got the yarn from. Where did I get it from? my knitting retreat, I just remembered actually I have been on a knitting trip to Cold Harbour. I went last year to the Cold Harbour Great British Fibre Festival. This year I didn't have much in mind to buy a few things because, yarn. Let me see if I can find it. So I have this beautiful Susan Crawford pattern that I knitted 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that. And it is beautiful. I absolutely love this sweater. It suits my colouring, and it's just a really wearable design. However, I knitted this in Shetland wool, and it is very, very scratchy. And I am a soft wool kind of gal. So I was thinking I might, because this is such a useful little sweater, I might reknit it, even though the intarsia was an absolute nightmare. I might reknit it, but in a softer yarn so that I get more wear out of it. I will get wear out of this when I go up to the Lake District because it's a lot chillier up there, and so this kind of thick wool is very, very useful. But down south, I don't wear it that much because it's very warm and it's scratchy. So I have been on the lookout for a similar sort of oatmeal-y kind of yarn. Now this yarn was from Shetland, what was it, Jameson and Sons, or the other one of the Jamesons. And it's got a really unusual base to it. So it's quite yellow, which I never thought would be my kind of colouring, but turns out it is. And it's quite, I'm finding it's quite an unusual yarn colour. So I found from the alpaca stalls, because I love alpaca, 2 kind of neutrally coloured skeins of yarn. I just bought, this one's 50 grams, this one's 100 grams. I think it's Blacklands alpacas I got this from. If not, I will pop in a correction up from what it actually is, because there were two different companies there that were selling alpaca, but neither of them are exactly the colour. Like this paler one is more, but this paler one is much more sort of purpley kind of pinky undertones to it, whereas this is a lot more yellowy. So, and this one is a little bit too dark. Whoops. I think probably with my colouring, that one's probably better than this one. I think this one washes me out a little bit. What do you think? Let's hold it up in the light. So, whereas this yellow suits my colouring a lot better. I don't know why. So, this one I think is more of a go, but it's just not the right colour. Really fussy when it comes to colour. So maybe I am still on the hunt for a neutral that is soft. But that was what I got basically. What else did I buy? I don't think I bought much else. I know I bought I bought sock blockers. I can see them from where I'm sitting. So I have this is my teddy, by the way. This is my teddy bear. I forgot that was still there. So I bought some sock blockers for when I finally get around to finishing my socks that I haven't finished yet. So that they'll be ready to go and block once I've finally got around to it. And I also bought a spray, blocking spray that is meant to extend your woolen sweaters in between washes. So it's kind of like a refresher kind of spray so you don't have to fully block your jumper again. And it was lavender scented. It was just yummy. I thought it might be good at keeping the moths away as well. So I bought that, and I'll pop that company down below because they were lovely. And they had some really nice scented washing blocking stuff. What would you call it? It's not exactly washing liquid, it's more for blocking. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I bought really. I wasn't, because I've got so many projects on the go and I've got so much yarn in my stash, I didn't really want to buy too much stuff. So that was it really. That's all I've been up to other than working. So not much to show you today, I'm afraid. And hopefully one day I can show you my sweater pattern that maybe I might be able to release. Who knows? And I might have to cut that whole bit out anyway, and so you won't hear about it anyway. But anyway, I hope you have got lots of lovely knits where you are, and it's keeping you entertained. And also, if you have a lovely yarn to squish, let me know in the comments on what you're knitting at the moment. Whether it's a nice summery top that's nice and cool, or if it's a nice warm sweater. I have to say, I am like starting to hanker after like autumn knits now. Like I really want to start Halloween knitting and like autumn knitting, because I just love that kind of cozy sweater season. I don't like the summer at all. Well, I do like the summer, but not as hot as it is. If it could please just, calm down a bit, this whole heat wave thing, that would be brilliant. Anyway, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a lovely time knitting, and you've got lots of yummy yarn, and I will see you soon.
Hello. Would you like to feed him a carrot and say his name? Thought you'd never ask. Just made my day. There we go. So if you want to stroke them, the knack is to have the carrot in one hand, put your hand out to the neck while they're focusing on the carrot, and then feed the carrot.
Okay. So what are their names?
So we've got Jackson and Iggy, they're 3. Can you see he's focusing on the carrot now?
Yeah.
Shall I demonstrate the tickly? Are you going to behave, Iggy? Right, so he's focusing on the carrot, focusing on the
Very
carrot.
focused.
And I get a stroke.
At the same time. These look like little baby ones.
And these are 11 months old.
Lovely.
So Paddington, the brown one, will let you stroke him. Captain Barnacle is just a little bit more timid.
Captain Barnacle.
How did you come up with these names?
It was a children's character, so we had.
So you have a theme each year, do you?
We have a theme, yes.
That's a good plan.
So we had Shaggy and Scooby,
Yes.
Parker and Lady Penelope,
Oh, love it. What's this year's theme then?
and then we need some ideas. So we've had.